Shalom, Israel. What's good, y'all? For those that aren't aware, my name is Atlas, and if you've read the title of this video, you pretty much already understand where this is going. So with that, let's get straight into the point. The point of this video is that I don't like Whispangle, and hopefully by the end of this, you may, at the very least, respect my opinion. Now, while I don't like the relationship because it's a homosexual one, that isn't the only reason that I just don't like this ship. For you see, I actually really like the characters themselves outside of this whole shipping, non-shipping nonsense. In fact, I'm planning on restarting the Sonic Burnout series very soon. Look forward to that, where I will be discussing how I'll be changing some of the story arcs pertaining these two characters. Back to the point at hand, the reason as to why I don't really like Whispangle is because I've always viewed them as like the same way I view Sonic and Tails. I can't review Sonic and Tails in a romantic sense because I just see them as like siblings. Examples of this are like Riley and Huey. Even if they weren't related, I'd still see them in a brotherly bond. Or Gumball and Darwin, Craig and JP. I just can't see romance between these two. I just see two girl pals hanging out like girl pals should. And I hate the fact that we live in a society in media recently where almost every single relationship between two people is always seen in a romantic context, where simply because two people are close enough to share traumas or something like that, one of them must be secretly in love with the other, and we're just waiting until the big reveal happens. And I just hate that because it tends to undermine the true depth of that relationship, you know? So anyway, about Whisper and Tangle specifically, while I did like their friendship at the beginning, it's just that, a friendship, a mutual bond between two individuals that I can't see going romantic. Let's take, for a second, Tangle was a dude, right? Let's just go off the context that Tangle was a dude. I still wouldn't like this relationship because of what happened in issue 57 and 58 for the IDW comics. So basically, to explain, what happened in these two issues was that Tangle, when asked what should the new restoration team name be, she shouted out how about the Diamond Cutters. Now for context, Whisper has basically shared all of her past trauma with Tangle under the pretense that they keep it between them, because it's pretty clear that throughout the comics that Whisper isn't, comfortable with being weak or being seen as weak around other people. So for Tangle to share something with the entire group that she wasn't planning on sharing with them at all, it angered her. It made her feel a little betrayed, and rightfully so. The comic kind of wrote it off really badly as well, with Tangle basically coming to her and crying, saying, I just wanted to give us the name because I felt like it would make us get closer together as a group, which I don't believe, which isn't true, by the way. Like, for example, take Power Rangers, for example. All of them were Power Rangers, but Tommy still betrayed them. You know what I mean? Or like the Z Fighters. All of them were considered Z-Fighters, but Vegeta was more than willing to betray the group, at least temporarily, to gain power to fight Goku in a 1v1. You know what I mean? A name doesn't decide the bond between people do. But, that's more of a deeper dive in that arc itself and less in this relationship. So let's just get to the main point. They just don't blend well together in a romantic sense. It's sort of like how I feel about Naruto and Sakura. Well, yes, this would be seen as an interesting idea. Overall, I just can't see Naruto getting with Sakura because Sakura is just so bad for him. Same with Whisper and Tangle. While they do have their nice moments, I could generally see a friendship blossoming through them. In terms of a relationship, I just can't see them going anywhere past that. And there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. It shouldn't be a problem for me or anyone, really, to not be able to see a romantic context for two different characters. Because these two, I just can't see it for. Like, don't get me wrong, there are relationships that loads of people talk about in the same comic that I could see potential for. Take Sonic and Surge, for example. I could see them getting together. You know, I could see the comic going in that type of route. And an example of that is Beast Boy and Raven. You know, like, wherever I see their relationship, that's kind of what I see, you know? But with Whisper and Tangle, I see nothing. Nothing of romantic context anyway. All the relationships I listed off before is basically what I see with them. I just see friends. And honestly, you know, we don't have to fight to get more than that. You feel me? Because, like, at the end of the day, again, these characters are both female. So already that's kind of like a no for me. Heck, that should be a no for Israel in general, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because, like, the Bible calls that entire type of dynamic or relationship as an abomination, right? That should already be enough said. But diving deeper into these characters as a relationship, I just can't get behind it, because I just don't see them getting together romantically. Like, if I were to see these two people as real people, I just couldn't fathom the very idea of them getting in a relationship. And even if they did somehow, some way convince each other that, you know what, we're both hot people, let's be hot people together, I couldn't see that relationship working for any more than maybe a couple days, weeks, maybe, right? So that's why I don't really like seeing this ship pushed out so much on the internet when I see, like, Sonic ships or whatnot, like future timeline nonsense. I just don't like this ship because, like, one, you know, homosexuality, obviously. Two, these two as a people, like as characters, just don't blend well together for me, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm not being clear. So let me give a good example of this. Take Aang and Zuko from the Avatar. They went through all of these problems and issues, and they even had this one genuinely wholesome moment between each other where Zuko opened up more about his trauma to Aang after, you know, becoming a good person and realizing all the crimes he committed under the Fire Nation, right? And they just come together and be bros. And that was cool. And I don't think that anybody would look at these two and go like, oh my god, man, they should have got together. They should have been the final couple, bro. Screw Katara, screw Toph. They should have hooked up. No, because, like, it feels like it sullies that which their relationship was. Not every relationship has to be a romance. Sometimes people could just be cool with one another. Sometimes you could open up secrets to someone who's just a really good friend. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's a really, really warped idea and a really bad idea whenever I see context like this where they try to push this narrative that pretty much every single relationship, be it comics, TV series, or whatnot, has to be romantic. You feel me? So that's my personal opinion on Whispangle. I simply can't see Whispangle in a romantic context. I just simply cannot. Now, could I see them in a friendship? Yes. Can I see them in a sisterhood? Yes. Can I see them being really close, you know, after all is said and done? Also, yes. I just can't see them romantically. I just, like, whether they were homosexual or not, I just couldn't see them together. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we have reached the end of this really, really long rant video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and before we head out, once again, I'd like to point out something I said in the earlier video, where I said that we would be restarting the Sonic Burnout video. Yes, Tusk Studios is officially announcing that we will, in fact, be working on Sonic Burnout Part 3. We have no clear date on when it'll come out, but we hope that it'll come out late summer, early fall, maybe. But, you know, stay tuned for that. And whilst we wait, I might be inclined to make videos a little more on the things that I just didn't like about the IDW comics. You know, in terms of how they handled characters, how they handled character arcs, you know, just how the series handled itself in general. But until then, again, thank you all so much for your support, not only for our YouTube channel, but our Tumblr. It really means a lot to us at Tusk Studios every time that you guys turn into our videos. So just share it with a friend or family whenever you get the chance, and we'll all see you in the next video. Kwam Yashala, Israel, and it is good to be back. Thanks for watching.
Oh yeah, and before this video officially comes to end, to all those that might have been offended or insulted by what I said about homosexuality, or how I voiced my opinions on the matter, or how I brought up how the Bible says that homosexuality is an abomination, which to anyone, they can look it up and find it within said Bible. I would like to say one last thing to those individuals. I don't care. I've never cared. And I will never care. This is my opinion, the truth of the Bible, and I'll never change it for anyone. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you. Bye. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next video.